10 minutes of daily reality coming at you. We're not going to go long today. We're not going to go short. It's 1st and 10. It's 2nd and 3. Who's going to win the big game today? You got some things to do. First off, hey, John, right? You know,
Yes.
A lot of people like go to these Super Bowl parties. And I don't know about you, but I know you're not a big Super Bowl guy, right? You know, you're not a big football fan anymore. But I like to watch the game. I don't want to sit there and fucking hear people talk in the middle of the game, especially a Super Bowl party. Super Bowl party are always people who never watch a game. And then you get all the people there that they're the dumb question people, right? The dumb question people, they'll stand up in the middle of a play, right, to go get some more potato chips, okay? They'll say something really fucking stupid at the time when all the tension's in there. You know, they'll start talking about something really random. And the worst thing is you always seem to be stuck next to them on the big Super Bowl couch. You always seem to get the really annoying person. It's the same person you don't want to get on an airplane. It's the same person you don't want next to you in the movie theater who's eating the popcorn too loud. It's the same people who you don't really want next to you in the subway talking your ear off. But he seems to always show up at the Super Bowl party. Then there's always that girl who pretends to, study a little bit about football and tries to get a few terms, and she wears this cute little shirt. She's just attention seeking during the Super Bowl. And of course she gets it. And there's always that guy that's got a lot of money who never gambled before, and he's getting really upset at everything, He's freaking the fuck out. So I avoid Super Bowl parties. I think they're a waste of fucking time. What about you?
Well, that was a great description of a Bowl party. We could have put a sitcom around it. That was excellent. Yeah, I mean, you really. I don't like those kind of parties myself. And I haven't been a football fan in the last few years. However, of course, I'm from Philadelphia. I grew up loving the Eagles. There's no way not to when you live there. So I'm going to watch tomorrow. I kind of wish I watched the whole season, of course. But I am concerned. And the reason I quit watching the game, I'll tell you this, the reason I quit watching football altogether is because in Philadelphia, it's a very manic, depressive city with sports. I mean, you either we're in 1 minute we love you, and the next minute we hate you. It's part of the culture. And really, I started to realize, I think the people of that city are like that. That creates like the sports team and this energy around the way that they are with sports creates sort of the way you feel about yourself in a way. That's what I started to realize. And the way I felt about myself is what I'm starting to realize is that the Eagles, all my life, hopefully this year, for the first time ever, it'll change. The Eagles, all my life, every year, somehow, they out of nowhere, they're not supposed to be anybody, they're not supposed to be good, and out of nowhere, everyone believes for at least a split moment of time, they're going to win the whole fucking thing for the first time. And they always do it. And then just as they're about to win, at one point, out of nowhere, the whole thing comes crashing down. And that's been the history of the Eagles up until this year. Maybe now they can rewrite history.
Wait a second. You said something really interesting, okay? Because you got my brain going on that. Like, it's almost like, I love you, I hate you. It's almost like women, the way it's almost like the way you've dated some women. You love them, you hate them, right? It's like a fucking total eagle. You literally date like an eagle, right? So now you got to think about the Patriots. Boston is known in Massachusetts as a hoity-toity, arrogant fucking state, right? So if you look at like Tom Brady and the Patriots and Bill Belichick, everybody looks at them as the evil empire. They're arrogant. The New York Jets, right? They're like this team that's never going to win it. And I've always been a New York Jet fan. So no matter how well I'm doing in my life, I always have these moments of like self-doubt that come up, right? All of a sudden I'm like, fuck, why am I doubting myself right now? Everything's going fucking great. I'm making all this money. I'm doing fucking fantastic. I got a great life. But like, why all of a sudden I feel the doom and gloom? Because I'm a Jet fan. Because you grow up and you literally take on, if you think about this as boys, we're taking on the personalities of our sports teams, right?
Yes.
Because it's such a big part of our life. So all of a sudden, okay, we don't even realize that the cycle of the moon is really the cycle of our fucking sports consciousness.
Well, that's exactly why I stopped at one point. I really enjoyed watching it like anybody else. When you get into it, it's fun. I don't care who you are, boy or girl. You start watching it, it can be really fun, especially if your team's winning, But at one point, you're over-identified with it. You get, a lot. And in Philadelphia, people really identify with football. From high school, where I grew up, it's like first the high school sports team is that like that's it. That's all there is. I mean, it's like that where I'm from, Pennsylvania. And then the Eagles, it's like, it's not like here in New York City where I don't even know what games plan, there's so many cool things happening that you don't even care about the Super Bowl. You don't even have to. But where I guess where I'm from, probably most of America, you walk out, everybody's wearing that shirt. They're wearing the Eagle shirt. There's not a person not wearing it. There's always one guy, one dickhead who's wearing a Cowboys shirt. There are right? There's always that guy, who wants to be different. He has to wear the opposite team. But other than,
Yeah,
yeah,
there always
yeah,
is that guy. There was always that guy on
yeah,
the bus growing up,
yeah, the kid in
and he'd have
class,
to wear. It's like in third grade, and you already know you could see the future asshole, right?
yes,
You could see him like in the future because I've run into those guys that fucking were assholes in third grade, and I've met them as an adult, and they're still an asshole, right? They love rooting for the team that everybody's rooting against, and they do. They always have the cowboy shirt.
right from day one. It's the
Yep.
same guy who's going to end up wearing a bow tie or whatever.
Yeah, but I think we're onto something here. I
Yeah,
think really
yeah,
cycles, women get their periods and it's every 30 days and they have the bloody river for 4 or 5 days. I think men's period is based on the cycles of their sports team, right? If
that's
you
really
think about
great. Yeah,
men's moods, right? If you think about it, you can really stick a tampon in a man's mouth because he fucking gets so upset. He's literally having he's literally having a cycle. I mean, literally upset. Like men get really upset when they're sports teams. I mean, they go into this incredible yammer cycle. If you don't know what a yammer cycle is, you got to listen to yesterday's podcast.
yeah,
But when a man's team is losing, you watch this during the Super Bowl today. Oh, fuck, I can't believe they just did that play. God damn it. And they get really pissed off. Like they get
hmm
really angry. You can see them get really tense, and they've got their jersey on. That's another thing too. Grown-ups that wear jerseys, it's just kind of strange with grown man on the back.
yeah,
It's like, a 45-year-old guy wears a Brady jersey with Brady written on the back. There's just something really fucking weird about that shit. I mean, it
yeah,
just doesn't fly. But here's this guy getting really upset. Ah, damn, Foles threw another pick. God damn it. And he goes into this whole yammer cycle
yep,
about his team the whole time. And I think men really get really moody. And during their sports team cycles, right? If your team
yes,
sucks, you're having a really bad yammer cycle during your sports team shitty season. So in
yes,
today's game, you're going to see men literally have their periods nonstop during the game. The Patriot fans and the Patriots don't look like they're going to win. Those guys will be having their fucking PMS. And then when the Eagle fans aren't doing well, they'll be PMSing. So it's interesting. The cycles of a man goes with the cycles of his sports team.
yeah. And also, I mean, just how can, like, obviously the more you're identified with something, like some people are really identified with their country, with their religion, with a lot of things, and a lot of people are really identified with their sports team. Like, there's people I know that live and die the Eagles. They live and die them. They are them. They are, like you said, even though most people that are on the Philadelphia Eagles didn't grow up anywhere near Philadelphia, somehow they represent Philadelphia, right? Somehow, even though the team changes every other year, somehow it represents Philadelphia. But people really identify with them. And what I found, maybe it's because I'm an artistic soul or whatever, so I kind of take things, really absorb things. But what I found as I was watching it and as I was growing as a person, I found that part of my identity was of the Eagles' identity, which is I can always come out of nowhere and take the world by storm and almost win, but then it just always falls away. It's like it always had. It's almost like it feels like I'll never win, and that's when I said I'm not watching the Eagles anymore, and I literally never did again. That's it.
It's
I'm not.
interesting
It's
because
going to be part of my identity.
that's interesting because I feel like a Jet fan. I feel like I'm in the middle of a really good season, and then I have a slow month, and then all of a sudden I think to myself, "Here we go again!" Right? I got the wrong coaching, I got the wrong defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator. I can be in my best year financially, right? And all of a sudden I can feel it literally stopping. Like all of a sudden I think to myself, "I'm not going to make another fucking penny this year." It's weird, and it is the cycle of how we've been conditioned as young men and
Mm.
we've been conditioned with sports minds. Young men are very competitive. We're taught to root for a team. We're taught to play sports. We're taught to do all these things. So we have these moments of self-doubt. And that's why, we really rely on our friends to help coach us out of it or to break our fucking self-doubt. But you look at guys that have this like winning mentality no matter what. Like you and I have been trading a lot, have been watching a lot of these crypto traders, right? And you could
Yeah.
tell the guys that fucking grew up with a father that had a really winning mentality. You can see
Yeah.
that. You can watch that. And I think that's the biggest thing. And that's why you and I like mentoring young guys, because we understand what it's like not to have that mentality and then to fucking really help a guy. And that's like my biggest joy, is helping a young man really get that fucking incredible mindset, so he feels like every single day he's working towards his Super Bowl, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
His Super Bowl of success, his Super Bowl of life. And that brings me the most amount of joy, I think, in my coaching, because I don't want them to really take on the identity of either A, their father, or B, their stupid sports teams. Imagine, imagine being, what's like one of the worst sports franchises. The Detroit Lions have never won a championship and they barely ever win the division. The Eagles, at least with Donovan McNabb, has won some divisions, and Andy Reid took them to the Super Bowl. And Philadelphia has a little bit of an attitude, but there's some sports teams that have losing ways
Well, look at
for
Detroit, the
so
city. I
long.
mean, and look at the whole city. The city is I mean, I'm not going to knock the city. I'm not from there, but essentially, as we know, it is the bankrupt city in America. It's a city with a lot, it's got, so they have to live with, it's got, so there's a lot of things losing there, and they have been for a long time. I don't know, is that, maybe the reason their team stinks, they don't have any money to bring anybody. I don't know. But maybe it's also just part of, there's an overall feeling of that there. I don't know. I didn't grow up there, so someone else would have to come to speak to that.
No, I think there's a lot of it. You know what? And we got to get people to the game, man. You guys got to get to the game. You got to get to your party. You got to avoid the person on the couch that you don't want to talk to. And you got to really start thinking about, does your identity match the city you grew up in? Does the identity match the sports team? And as for women, does your identity match the fucking Disney movie that you fucking watch? Because that's like your Super Bowl, It's like, a lot of women have had relationship issues because they were fucking taught this romance story that doesn't really exist. They were taught this Disney story. So a lot of our childhood program and a lot of our childhood stuff has caught us up in this like endless cycle, this cycle of the story we're leaving. And today you choose to be a champion. So anyway, John, predict the game, man. What's the score?
Eagles.
Give me the
Eagles.
score. Give me a score.
27-24. Great game.
All right,
It's going to be a great game.
I'm going to flip the coin on you. I'm going to take Patriots 27-24. And Tom Brady's going to do his usual magic, and Nick Foles is going to throw an interception, and Bill Belichick is going to have his usual mellow face, and Brady's going to win another Super Bowl and still have a gorgeous wife and cute, adorable kids, and everybody's going to hate him even more tomorrow. So there's my prediction. For the rest of you, we will see you next week. We're going to have some cool crypto stuff to talk about in the first full week of February. We're going to go deeper into the Yammer cycle. We're going to go deeper into Yakville, and we're going to go into a lot of different things. Anyway, 10-minute daily reality. Check out John Keegan Awakens Lifestyle, David Wygant, davidwygant.com. Post and post this podcast all over the place. Any final parting words, John, besides goodbye?
Well, good. Remember that we are all always able to make the choice every single day to transcend our victimhood and not become stuck in a victimhood cycle. And we have to look out for that all day, every day. And the other thing I want to say, and I think this would be a great thing we'll be talking about next week, is that remember to have empathy for people that aren't like you, that or look different than you, or come from a different part of the world than you. Remember to try and reach out and have empathy for others instead of them making them your enemy.
Beautiful. See you all next week.